So when you go to the next team in the division, the Eagles actually have a very easy schedule because they were so terrible last year. They have the third easiest schedule, and they're at 6.5. The over minus 160. The
The
under
over?
plus, yeah. So they're like this weird number because at 6.5 they're minus 160 over plus 135 under, and at 7.5 they're plus 120 over minus 145 under. So they're
It's that
really
seven
their
win.
line is 7 wins, and it depends on where you want to go. It's really awkward. So
Let me make it abundantly clear which direction I want to go. It's spelled Under. All right. I I have them in last place in the division, and I just talked about the Giants being a 7-10 football team. So the Eagles
so
are
we should
not.
go under at plus 135. That's a
Yes,
good bet.
absolutely, 100%.
I like
Uh,
it. I'm
the
gonna write that down.
people who are connected to the Eagles and people who know the thinking of the Eagles are basically like they're just riding it out with Jalen Hurts right now because they're waiting for somebody
Sean Watson.
whose name might rhyme with LaShawn Dotson,
Oh, I've heard of that guy, which
right?
sounds intriguing.
There, or it's basically like it's two things.
Or,
Number one, they're just like if Jalen Hurts hits, great, we've made it work, and if it doesn't, we knew it wasn't going to work in the first place.
well, isn't this another one of these scenarios like Tua in Miami that we talked about in the AFC, and like Dwayne Haskins, where ownership just came in and said, "No, you're taking this guy."
That was exactly what happened. And I wish more people would talk about it. Shio Kapadia, who we had on the podcast in the beginning of the season, wrote, along with a few other Philadelphia focused writers for The Athletic and other publications, I believe, did this massive expose about basically how very similar to what happened with Haskins, as you said, to a lesser extent, although Tua was an ownership pick. But basically, they were like, look, we have the second round pick. We should bolster the team. And Jeffrey Lurie's like, I really like this Jalen Hurts guy. You got to take this Jalen Hurts guy. And everyone's like, you don't want to take the Heisman candidate quarterback with a quarterback already in town who's got a fragile psyche and his teammates don't already like him. And you're going to introduce another guy. They're like, yeah, we're going to take Jalen Hurts. And that's exactly what they did. And it made no sense. And it fucked things up in an already fucked up organization. So now it's exactly going back to the Haskins, situation. They're like, we should probably part ways with him. Or they're like, yeah, what can we do to kind of get rid of this after already making that mistake? So yeah, Hertz is not. I've said this. Pardon all the listeners have heard me talk about this topic for 1,000 times. Wife, I'm married to an Alabama alumna. I've watched every game that Jalen Hurts has started in Alabama. I've watched every game that Tua Tagovailoa started in Alabama. When Jalen Hurts took the team to the national championships, I said, great, he's the second best quarterback on his team.
Right.
Right. And this is before Tua even started. I'm like, he's the second best quarterback. Wonderful. Good for you. You're riding Nick Saban's coattails. And like, well, he was a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. I'm like, my grandmother can throw for 5,000 yards in the Big 12 with Lincoln Riley. And I don't have a grandmother right now. Like that's a sham that, we're using that as a reference point.